Hey folks, this is Philipp with the Everyday Fighter podcast. When I pick my girls up from school, typically the pickup line is so backed up that I actually have to forego that. Instead, I park across the street. I walk over to pick up my girls from the school entrance, and then we walk back to the car. On the way, though, it's a crosswalk that we have to go through, and there is a button we hit, and the light will go on when it's safe for you to go by. And I see so often kids, other parents, they just see the light that says walk, and then immediately they just start going, right? But that particular crosswalk for us is on a fairly busy street in our town. People speed there all the time, even though it's a school zone and they have to slow down, right? Sometimes they're going 10, 15 miles an hour faster than they should. It's a little scary sometimes. So for me, I don't rely on that light to tell me what to do, right? I don't rely on this. Okay, the ideal scenario is once you see that walk light on the signal, go ahead and start walking, right? No, I see that. And then for myself, I remember it's not about doing what this thing tells me. They're giving me the ideal. In the ideal situation, in the ideal world, once this signal that says walk lights up, you feel free, go ahead and start walking. But I know the reality of that busy street. So I make it a point, even though it tells me to walk, I don't. I look left, I look right, I look left and right again. And as I see people in their cars speeding towards us, if we're already in the crosswalk, I'm looking right at them, making sure that they're paying attention. Because if it's such that they're not paying attention, then I've got to do something. I've got to make sure that I push my girls out of the way, or, I just do something so that we remain safe. And that's the whole point of it, right? The point is not to follow the rule in an ideal world. The goal is to cross the street safely. So I apply this in the terms of our fighting, our martial arts journey on the mat as well, where a lot of times when I'm teaching my classes, I have to give it to them very basic, right? It's what I call the ones and twos. Here is this particular technique that can apply in this particular situation. It's like the ideal, quote unquote, ideal world, right? But I make sure as well that they understand it's not about just the technique in this particular situation. I mean, we can't teach every single situation, for that particular technique to be used, right? I mean, it's just, there's no time, and it's just an impossibility. And they would just get confused, right? We wouldn't, they wouldn't be learning anything. But after they learn the ones and twos, I bring in as much reality as possible to the situation, so that they understand that it's not about the technique. It's about you in a self-defense situation. It's about you surviving. Or if in a competitive situation, it's about you hitting your opponent and not getting hit back. Right? Forget about the technique and how you learned it in an ideal vacuum. It's about, let's use those moves. Let's use how you moved your body in that vacuum, but now apply it in the real world, right? Where you're getting resistance, where you're getting people actually trying to hit you back as well. And ultimately, you find that the goal, again, is not about them learning the ones and twos. It's about them being able to protect themselves, or to do the best they can, perform the best they can in the competition, right? So bring that reality into the training environment as well. And much like the crosswalk, where there's a reality versus kind of the ideal situation, you'll be able to make that differentiation for your classes and for yourself as you're learning new techniques as well. So I hope that was helpful, folks. This is Philip with the Everyday Fighter Podcast. Talk to you next time.